We're at the Rivian R2 event, and it is right here behind me. And oh my God, they did the one more thing and actually have two other cars, the R3 and the R3X. We'll get into all that here. But this is a look at Chapter 2 of Rivian's How to Build a New Car Company playbook. Chapter 1, the R1T, R1S, iconic, brilliant cars that were very upmarket, low volume, and this is what comes next. So this then is a really quick first look at the Rivian R2. Welcome to Fully Charged Show.
Like Fully Charged? Then you'll love our fun-packed everything electric expos around the world. Next up, we're in London and Harrogate. Remember, energy and transport professionals go free on the first day.
We have just a little bit of time to try to give you a walk around. We're going to be completely surrounded by people, so I don't know how much we're going to be able to do. But let's see how this Chapter 2 of Rivian's playbook is going to look. Looking at the R2, you might not even notice it's a new car because it looks so similar to the R1T and R1S. It all starts up front. The most iconic part of any Rivian is the front. Look at that beautiful light bar that runs all the way across the entire front of the car. And of course, the vertical oval lights, which is about as classic Rivian as it gets, and all that is shared here. In fact, the entire car just kind of looks like the R1S, just shrunk down. For example, the wheelbase is about 5 inches shorter. The big dimensional change is in the length, almost 15 inches shorter in terms of the full length. And that's where this car makes that compromise. The R1S is a 7-seater with a third row. This is 5 seats only and 2 rows. And that's where really that big difference happens. In terms of height, about 5 inches shorter and about 4 inches narrower. So overall, similar dimensions. It's like they just kind of shrunk it down, you know? Just everything about it shrunk down. But they've kept a lot of the character and love. And I'm telling you right now, if you didn't know this was a new car and you just parked it out in the street, odds are people probably wouldn't even notice. They would have just thought, oh, okay, it's the Rivian R1S. But when you park them side by side, it becomes much more apparent. Right, so one of the big changes here with the R1-2 is simplification, right? This car starts at $45,000. How do you save all that money? For example, this car has traditional shocks and mechanical metal springs, right? No air suspension here, no dynamic ride height adjustment and all the other cool settings the R1S has. This is a little more standard. And in terms of batteries and stuff, here's what we know. There's going to be cylindrical 4695 batteries, so a little bigger than what Tesla is using, but the big cylindrical batteries in a structural battery pack. So this skateboard architecture in their next generation product is going to have a structural battery. That means that the batteries and the casing for them aren't just an enclosure for the pack, they actually provide the structural rigidity, especially like torsional rigidity, for the entire car. That's pretty cool. Also, we know that the range is going to be 300 plus. I've heard reports of like 320 miles. We don't know how big the battery pack is going to be, but as you can tell, this is not a small car, and it doesn't have that fastback roof line. So I'd imagine this will have a 100 and something kilowatt battery pack, but I'm just guessing. We'll know more about that in the coming months. So around the back, again, very classic Rivian. Big embossed letters, you got the big light bar, all the same stuff that we saw in the R1S. Now, we mentioned, to me, a car from 88,000, 90,000 to 45,000 requires a ton of optimizations, right? You have to lower the cost of every subcomponent. But I'm really glad to see that Rivian didn't go too bare bones. For example, this window rolls down, kind of like the Toyota RAV4s of the past I love. And also, these back windows pop out. So it's just kind of the back pressure to keep that air moving. Really nice touches for a car in this price point. Again, this competes with the Tesla Model Y. And looking at it, it feels like it's in another class compared to the Model Y, right? Just a little bit bigger, more room. And here is the site for Sorize. That is the North American charging standard, the Tesla charge port here on the car. This car in 2026, when it comes out, will come with that, which is fantastic, because that is the right choice for us here in North America. You've probably seen cars with seats that fold flat. This is a great example, a truly flat back. But have you ever seen a car where the front seats fold flat? Well, that's what we have here. This means that from this, both the driver and passenger seats fold fully flat, kind of in line with the center console, which means this can make for some epic camping with just an air mattress that covers the entire area. That's clever. To do that, the headrest has to come out. And for the driver's side, the steering wheel goes in and down to accommodate that folding action. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Brilliant. So in the R1, there used to be a speaker right about here, but by removing that, you have all this extra space for larger water bottles and other things that you can put in here. And those speakers have been relocated to other parts of the center console. Also, every Rivian has this. No, this is not a Rolls-Royce, but every Rivian has a flashlight right here. You can just pop out for adventures, right? This is an adventure and lifestyle vehicle. But what's really cool is they're working on a series of different accessories that you could put in here. For example, the next one would be a hand warmer and USB battery pack. How cool would that be? You're going out somewhere cold, you could pop it out, hold on to it, keep your hands warm. One of my favorite parts about the R1S was always the front trunk, and RJ, the CEO, mentioned that it's really popular with their customers as well. This one, not as big. The R1S is massive, but this one's still usable. There's a little bit more of a border around it, but still quite large, and you can fit airline luggage and stuff like that. Right, so this then is the R3, and as you can tell, it's quite a beautiful thing. It actually looks very Rivian from the front, and in my mind I was thinking, this is probably a lot like the Ioniq 5, but standing here now, it's quite a bit bigger. This actually is more SUV really than hot hatch. It'd be hard to call this a hot hatch. This probably really is more of a really, really compact SUV just because, I mean, look how tall it is. It's a big car, but it does really make the most of the interior space. There's good seating for 5, hatchback space, good aerodynamics, kind of has a good little package all around. I'm really curious how the sales figures compare, the timelines. We'll know more about all that in the future. This was just like a really cool leak, kind of a early look, but yeah, exciting stuff. All right, this is the one more thing. This is the R3X. The giveaway for this compared to the traditional R3 is the wider flares here for bigger tires. This is kind of the off-road pack, right? But again, looking at it from the front, just classic Rivian. I mean, they have a clear design language, and this just fits right into the family. Obviously, with the Sportback and more hot hatch styling, it does look a little bit different compared to the R2. But again, very familial in its ancestry and DNA, and you can tell what it is. Really cool little highlights as well on this car, like the mirrors and the tow hooks, which have that orange color, which is really cool, right? So I was talking with the team, and they mentioned the biggest giveaway is this right here. So the Rivian lettering right here on the fender well is probably the biggest giveaway that this is a R2 product or an R3 product versus the originals. Here in the back, again, just classic Rivian light bar, big raised letters, and the hatchback opens 2 ways. So the entire door opens, and also just the top glass, which is a really nice touch. And the back glass can be programmed to open and stay open at different settings. So if you have a surfboard, for example, you could put it out the back and just have it open and kind of hold itself there. Fantastic. So what we see here behind us, the R2, the R3, the R3X, this is the future of Rivian, literally right here in front of you. As they mentioned, they're trying to speed up the timelines to get this car out, especially the R2, which they're going to be producing at their current Normal, Illinois facility, which is really cool. And they're targeting a 2026 timeline. But we shall see. Ultimately, all the lessons learned have to be instilled in these cars. They have to be profitable and they have to be great. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that people are going to love them. I mean, just look at how much character they have. But what do you think? Are these cars you would want? And tell me that that R3 wouldn't be amazing on like British or European roads as well. Just amazing. All right, that is a really, really quick look at the Rivian R2 and R3, R3X here in beautiful Southern California. And if you thought that was cool, check out this video next.